Well, it's November in New England, and you know what that means. The end of riding season.
Winter is coming.
But you can't just go and park your bike and expect it to start and run perfectly in the spring. Nah, there's a little work you gotta do and a little prep you gotta do to make sure it's actually gonna start up and run and be ready to go the first of the year. And even then, you can't just hop on and ride, but that's another video for another time. So does that mean I'm all done? No more riding this year? I'm spent? I'm finished? Hell no! That's why we're going to be working on my wife's 2001 Suzuki Savage instead. We had hoped to get her on it this year, but between being sick and no time and a bunch of other things, never quite got that far. It runs and starts perfectly. There's nothing wrong with it, but she's not going to get to it this year, so I might as well put it away and show you how it's done in the process. One of the most important things you want to do is make sure you got some fuel stabilizer in the gas tank. Yeah, looking pretty good. Could use a little more gas because you want to cover up any bare metal. Why is that? Because if the metal's all covered in liquid, it can't rust. And rusted out gas tanks are one of the biggest problems you get when you just park a bike and let it sit for a long time. And that causes all kinds of other issues later on. Another thing you want to make sure you do is add a little fuel stabilizer to the gas. This stuff's pretty good, stable, the normal stuff. I personally prefer the marine formula, particularly with the crappy ethanol gas we get these days. This stuff's a little better at dealing with moisture in the gas and absorbing any water. So I like to use this stuff, and it hasn't failed me yet. I've had this bottle for like 3 or 4 years or something, and I'm almost going to need to replace it. That's how well it lasts. The back of it here says 1 ounce for every 10 gallons. I tend to use an ounce for a full tank. And it's real simple. All you gotta do is fill her up like that. Just give a little squeeze till you get to 1 ounce. Pour her in. And that's it. Well, not quite. There is one more thing you want to do with it. And that's run it a bit. That's because all the treated gas has to work its way into the carburetors there, so that when you shut the thing off, the stabilized fuel is what's sitting in the carbs. So away we go. There we go. It's alive! Yes, I know that's a way expired license plate for the wrong state. We haven't ridden this on the street. Oh, look at that smoke now. You want to make sure you work the gas in the carbs real good. Another important thing to keep an eye on is the battery. Now, I parked my old bike in my garage all last winter, and it started up just fine this spring. That's without a battery tender or anything. But you may not be so lucky. I've also parked it outside all winter in the parking lot in the cold, and had to replace a brand new battery in the spring because it died in the cold. So, Cold temperatures kill batteries, so what you want to do is either get yourself a battery tender if you have a way to get power out there, and keep a trickle charge on the thing to make sure it's good to go in the spring. Or if you can't get power out to your bike, which I understand might not always be possible, at least try to remove your battery, put it inside where it's warm, and just keep it stored away for the winter so that it will be able to get a charge in the spring. Another thing you want to keep in mind is the tires. As you can see, this one's basically new. It was installed on the parts bike right before the motor blew, so it didn't get very many miles, which is why I swapped it over to this one. If you can, try not to keep the bike in the same place all winter. Try to roll it around at least a little bit. That'll help avoid a flat spot in the spot of the tire that's been sitting in the same place all winter. Also, make sure the tires are well inflated before you park it. You don't necessarily need to use the factory pressures. Some people even overinflate them a little bit just to reduce that contact patch over the winter. Just don't forget to air them down or set your pressures correctly once spring comes along and you want to hop on for the first time. If you've got a bike cover, use it. If not, well, don't worry about it. Just keep it cleared off for the winter. If you've got a garage, you're lucky. And really, that's about all I do. It's nothing complicated, but you gotta do something to make sure the thing's not gonna need even more work in the spring when all you want to do is hop on and go for a ride. But that should do it. I'll put this thing away and she'll be done for the year, but I'm not quite ready to quit riding yet. So until next time, this is the Masshole signing off.